and identity. So, just to summarize, we know who, what, where, how that user is logging in, and we can answer the question, why does the user need to log in? We can even take it a bit further by applying business justifications and overrides that a user can put in that justification and allow an administrator to either approve or deny the request. We can also answer when does the user need access to the environment by applying time-based restrictions. Or if you're an administrator and you need to get in and do some work, we can implement privileged identity management, which allows you time-based access to be able to manage and administer a certain type of environment or application. So overall, when we're planning for identity and access management, these are the main components we want to talk about. We want to make sure there's a good plan for multi-factor authentication. And when it's paired with this conditional access, this is a best practice. Another feature we want to take into consideration and select is the type of modern authentication that's going to be used. This is going to help prevent, those clear text authentications from happening. We want to make it productive at the same time. We want to make users to give their lives a little bit more, um, you know, a little bit easier to be able to access multiple applications using their identity. Now, that can't really be done until we have a good multi-factor authentication and a good modern authentication in place. At the same time, let's leverage Azure Active Directory identities to be able to get into on-premises applications. And privileged identity management, as I mentioned, gives you that just-in-time access or just enough access to be able to do what needs to be done with the environment. So a lot of controls, and these are really the foundations that need to go into planning identity and access management in a modern workplace. So the types of Azure AD synchronization models. Now, what I'm going to get into here is you might already be, synchronizing identities to Azure AD, or you might be just getting started here. Either way, we're going to cover all of the bases. Now, there are different kinds of synchronization models when it comes to identities. The first one is really actually not a synchronization model, but it's really cloud only. And then there's two other synchronization models known as managed and federated. Let's go through each of these a little bit more closely. So Azure AD Cloud only identities. I mean, very easy to set up. Uh, if you're establishing a Microsoft 365 tenant for the first time, you're already using Azure Active Directory. And the benefits of this is pretty astounding. I mean, administration is flexible because you're using the browser-based windows to help manage users, groups, devices. It's secure, although with additional policies and conditional access, we can get onboarded with additional security. It's ready to go, and it's scalable. And when you bring your actual domain over, your own custom domain, you can support up to 300,000 objects. So it's quite scalable there, even with a cloud-only identity.